More than anything, I would say the big takeaways from this is there's not one area in the Niagara region that's falling behind. Every single area has seen this type of increase. But the real takeaway here is number of sales. So in 2019,
Yeah.
we had 363. In 2020, we had 566.
Amazing to see that what actually still can be found on the market if you're looking with a critical eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the opportunity here was just checking it often to see if anything had changed. That opportunity presented itself, and now this turns into a really, really great deal.
Absolutely.
When I saw this one wasn't holding offers, I booked an appointment right away. I was like, I need to go now, or this is going to sell.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the entire Niagara region when it comes to real estate investing. So we're going to be talking about Niagara, Welland, St. Catharines, Fort Erie, everywhere and anywhere in between those areas and points of interest. And today we're really going to be sitting down with Kayla, who is our local market expert for the Niagara St. Catharines market. She's going to break down some example deals that have actually been done in 2021. So these are live deals that you guys could actually see or got in on if you were on top of things. And she's got an interesting play if you're looking for, just a brand new built condo unit. Again, she's got an interesting angle on that. If you guys are interested, you're going to want to stay to the very end of this show. And again, reminder, this is going to become a monthly feature. So if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button if you want to see more Niagara and St. Catharines real estate market breakdowns from Kayla. But let's jump into January's breakdown.
All right, guys, we're here with Kayla Smith, our Niagara Falls and regional just expert when it comes to everything real estate. Hey, Kayla, how's it going?
Good, Matt. How are you?
Good. I'm really excited to dive into this market. My audience has been listening to me talk a lot about how excited I am about Niagara Falls and that general market. One, I think it's a market that's a little overlooked, but secondly, I also love the idea of like natural tourist destinations. I think staycation, stuff like that's going to become huge in Canada. But anyways, I know you've really broken down some of the data so that we can analyze. So what are you currently seeing in your market?
I mean, you're hearing this basically everywhere in Ontario. It's a seller's market. The Niagara region is no different. We're seeing, a lack of inventory. Everyone's looking at the same houses, multiple offers. Everything that, has value seems to be going over ask. So yeah, it's that's kind of the trend that we're seeing right now. It's a bit of a battle for buyers and a bit of a perfect storm for sellers. So that's kind of where we're at in the Niagara region.
Mm-hmm. So before we jump into the data, do you mind just sharing with my audience, if they're not familiar with your background as an investor yourself?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Hamilton, so I help a lot of people invest in Hamilton, but I live in the Niagara region and have for the past many years. So I do all of my investing here all over the Niagara region. I started house hacking when I was 23 in the Niagara region, so that's kind of how it all started. And I just kind of, kept on that path. And I found obviously the Niagara region to be a little more affordable than the Hamilton region, and rents aren't super, super different in comparison to the price. So so I've just kind of been investing in here all over the Niagara region. I don't stick to a specific city. There's opportunity in all of them. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with my investing. And I've been, trying to pull a few people out this way too that are looking primarily at Hamilton, just because I do see a massive opportunity, especially with like the prices. And like you said, the tourism, it's just like a natural, it's pulling people here and the wineries and the falls and everything that it has to offer. So I'm a huge Niagara region advocate, if you will.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to dive into it. So let's pull up the screen share and check out some of the data.
All right. So this is year over year. And something to keep in mind is that December stats come out in January. So that's what we're seeing here. So I'm just going to present that.
Perfect.
So more than anything, I would say the big takeaways from this is there's not one area in the Niagara region that's falling behind. Every single area has seen this type of increase. Obviously, there's a variation in the percentage of increase, but if you're looking at the number of new listings, not a huge change year over year. 2019, 372, 2020, 397. But the real takeaway here is number of sales. So in 2019, we had 363. In 2020, we had 566, and definitely did not see the same increase of listings. So this is causing, again, a lack of inventory. which is driving up this benchmark price, which has seen about a 23% increase year over year, which is crazy. I mean, kudos to the people that saw this happening in 2019 and bought then. And then as well is average days on market. So it says 30, but this includes any houses that have sat for a long time. Any house of value is usually either holding offers, and that's about 5 to 7 days, or if they're not holding offers, selling within 2 days or so. So that's kind of the year over year snapshot. And like I said, no market in the Niagara region is falling behind. These are all massive increases. So that is positive to see for, all of us people that live in the Niagara region and invest and buy in the Niagara region.
Yeah, I love this data and how it's broken down. Do you mind at some point maybe just giving us a highlight of some of these areas? Like there's a few that really jump out to me. I constantly hear investors talking about Thorold and Welland and a few of those others, but if you don't mind letting us know what some of them are popular.
Absolutely. So really, like a lot of people know of like your St. Catharines, your Niagara Falls, obviously because of the falls, and then Niagara on the Lake because of the wineries. But Thorold, that's actually where I live. Thorold is attached to St. Catharines. You're 5 minutes from St. Catharines, and you're also Brock is technically in Thorold. So there's a lot of different, players for Thorold as far as investing goes. Welland, you're about 20 minutes ish, depending on where in Welland, down the road. Also a big increase there. And still a lot of affordable opportunities, especially if you are planning on doing like the conversion, just based off of when the houses were built. There are a lot that still do have that, that high basement that everyone's looking for with the side door. And then the Port Colborne and Fort Erie, those are a little further out, but as you can see, still pretty affordable, but also a lot of opportunity there. And there's a lot of things happening in each of these cities, a lot of building happening. The prices are obviously increasing, and a lot of infrastructure and facilities being built as well, which I will speak to later in our conversation. But yeah, so I wouldn't write off any of these markets. Obviously, like Niagara on the Lake and Pelham and Fonthill are a little expensive, but other than that, like as far as investors go, I wouldn't write any of these off.
And so do you mind just kind of hitting on it? I'm mildly familiar with Niagara on the Lake, but so like geographically located from Niagara Falls, like when we're looking at price, that's a massive change. So why so much demand in Niagara on the Lake?
So I would say it's more of a demographic. If you go to Niagara on the Lake, the demographic, the age increase it's a massive retirement community. It's also where you're finding, most of the wineries. So there's a lot driving up prices. A lot of the houses in Niagara on the Lake as well are either new, which drives up the price, or they come with a lot of land. So there's just a different landscape as far as the housing market goes in Niagara on the Lake. And there's two forces kind of working to drive up those prices.
Awesome. Yeah, again, I love this sort of data, so appreciate you breaking it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is just month over month. I think it's just helpful to kind of paint the picture as we go into December and January of what to expect. Things started to slow down in November, in December. You can see November had 664 new listings, December had 397. And again, the big takeaway here is there was 694 sales. And while there was a decrease, it wasn't near as much so as the listings. So you still have a lot of people fighting even month over month for the same houses. And then as far as the price increase goes, so this is just a 30-day difference. Like this is a 4% increase over 30 days. So that's huge, especially when you're looking, in the $20,000 range. And then again, the average days on market stayed the same, but that's with the caveat of that's with every house included. Most houses are going much quicker than that. So I just thought that was kind of a neat snapshot of month over month. And it's just an interesting thing to think about that big of a change can happen in, 30 days.
And clearly, like just looking at the supply, there's going to be a lot of pressure in regards to demand because the supply seems to be dwindling month over month.
Absolutely. And I don't think that's going to change. It is possibly even going to get worse with the new lockdown restrictions. So something to look forward to if you're a seller, I guess. But yeah, so that's definitely the trend that we're seeing. And then moving on, this is just a different way to look at the data. It's just showing you the percentage change. And like I said, the big one here is that 23.1 increase on sale price in 1 year, which is crazy. And then as well, I mean, this, as far as like a 42.7 downward increase or decrease, sorry, on average days on market. And then the number of sales year over year has been quite astonishing as well. And then this I took from Broker Bay. So Broker Bay is basically a booking system that realtors use to book appointments as well as register offers. So something just interesting to share is that there were 359 new listings in Broker Bay over the last 30 days. So this is from, January 17th to December 22nd. 280 sold, but there were almost 8,000 showings. There are not, like, that is so many people going through these same houses. And then you can see the result of that in the offers. So 823 offers on 280 sold houses. So you can only imagine the multiple offer situations that are happening here. And, they're going into the teens, the 20s. Like, it is definitely, like I said, a perfect storm for sellers right now, and quite a battle for buyers. So that's just kind of what that data shows.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's really interesting just to be able to get that perspective of how many offers are coming in on those solds.
Yeah, and again, like I said, this is just through Broker Bay. It's a snapshot, but it's definitely interesting to see. So yeah, that's kind of the market data for December. So happy to share that. It's always important to have someone kind of on the ground that's in it and looking at it all the time. I'm studying this all the time, so this has been even interesting for me to see. I don't think anyone expected this with COVID. So yeah, it's definitely been a wild ride, 2020.
Absolutely.
All right. And then, so I'm going to move on to just some like opportunities economics, if that's okay with you, Matt.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something kind of positive because, 2020. So one opportunity, and kind of that ties into the economics of what's happening in the Niagara region, is they did award Niagara region with the Canada Summer Games, which was supposed to be 2021, but obviously has now been delayed to 2022. And they, there was bids from Ottawa, from Kitchener-Waterloo, from Sudbury. So there were other, major cities that had put bids on this, and Niagara was awarded the games. But one thing I used in my previous life, I worked for the government, and one thing I noticed was, if the government's willing to invest money there, that's usually a good sign. And the federal government has, their funding is $29 million. The provincial government has matched that, and then the Niagara region has put $11 million of their own funding into it. So a lot of money coming in. And one of the biggest complaints about the Niagara region is that there's not a ton of facilities. Like in Thorold, there's one currently, and Brock, but yeah, as far as like, recreation goes. So what this does for the Niagara region is there's facilities being built in all of the municipalities. None are being left behind. And with that comes infrastructure to support those facilities. So there's going to be, all these facilities, these restaurants, businesses, a lot of pull to the Niagara region for that. And then as well as, you're going to see it's in the month of August in 2022. So there's 5,000 athletes, 4,000 volunteers, fans, there's family coming down. So it's kind of like a twofold opportunity. It brings a lot of exposure to the Niagara region, as well as, like I said, those facilities and stuff. So that's going to drive the prices up on its own. But also for anyone who invests in Airbnb or short-term rentals, like this is like the golden ticket, because there's going to be so many people in the Niagara region. And while they're only here for, a short time, the athletes will come beforehand, the families will come beforehand, and people will stay after once they realize that what the Niagara region has to offer. So I just saw this as like a major opportunity from an investment standpoint, because not like this only happens, every so often, and it's all over Canada. And for Niagara to get it and for them to dump this type of money into it, that says a lot for the region itself, I think. So yeah, I was doing some research on this, and I was like, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, and just kind of adding my personal perspective onto it as well. I could see that shaping up to be the perfect storm of demand in the summer of 2022, because right now, the way the summer of 2021 shaping up, I could see it being a little bit less fun than a lot of people probably are hoping it to be. And if that ends up being the case, again, assuming that things get sorted out by that August 2022, I could see Niagara Falls just on fire just cause. And then you layer on having the Summer Canada Games. And yeah, that's really interesting.
And there's a facility being built 5 minutes from like where I live, and I drive by it all the time because that's where I go to get coffee. And it's gorgeous, like super modern, massive. Like it adds like a whole new modern feel to the region that I think it was kind of missing before. So yeah, happy to share that, let everyone know. It's super exciting for many reasons, but especially on the investment front as well.
Awesome. And speaking of investment front, you've got some example deals for us?
Yeah. So this is actually one that I bought on market in multiple offers. You can see here it did go for over ask. And you can see it was in one day. Like I said, if there's a house out there that has some value, it's going to go very quickly. But something to note about this house specifically. So it's in a great neighborhood in Niagara Falls. One thing that I think deterred some people from seeing it, and this is kind of where the opportunities exist on MLS, is it says the basement square footage is 400 square feet. It's not. It's the entire footprint of the house. But a lot of houses in the Niagara region do only have a partial basement. So I think that's probably what kind of threw a few people off. And it's also a little bit bigger than 750 square feet. Like it's a comfortable 9, I would say. But these are just, again, the measurements are, they're never super, super accurate. So yeah, we got a bit lucky with this one, and I'm just going to show.
And then,
go ahead.
As you're talking about this, do you mind just sharing with us, like, what does it take to win this at 388? Was that a cash offer, no conditions, or how do you have to approach it in this market?
Absolutely. So it was a firm offer at no conditions. We did go, like, we went through the house, looked at everything. Everything was, was in reasonable shape. I do have the pictures I can show you. So you can see it's dated, but it was very clean. It had newer windows. The roof was newer. It does need a new central and furnace, which is just, an added cost that you factor into all of it. So yeah, it's a great house, honestly. Like, I love it. And it also, so that's the basement there. So if you went through the photos, you can see that the basement's quite large.
Yeah.
But if you just took it at face value, you just kept scrolling. So, and it also has a detached garage, the side door. And one of the things with COVID, more people want outdoor space. And because this lot is so big, we can actually offer, each tenant their own yard. So there's a side door out the top and the side door out the basement. So we're allowed to just, we're able to offer a lot of things that I think would pull people to it. And because it's not a huge house, the reno is looking in the realm of probably between like up to 75, 80 range, just depending. We are pretty frugal. We source our own, we buy all our own stuff, we drop it off and whatnot, but that's just our choice. And it should appraise in the 575, 6 range. So we will get everything we put into it out of it. So just an example of a BRRRR and conversion opportunity that does exist on market in the Niagara region.
Yeah, I really appreciate you breaking down this deal and just kind of sharing the high level numbers for us. So it sounds like based upon, keeping a frugal budget, you'll be able to implement this as a perfect BRRRR and essentially have no money tied into it once you're done.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, that's a choice. We would be willing to leave some in it. It's a great house in a great neighborhood. And I think that I'm a little more willing to leave money in when that's the case. And then it just goes back to that fact, like that one day on market, like you got to be fast, or you need to have a realtor that's fast, or because you're not going to get it if you're not. Absolutely. When I saw this one wasn't holding offers, I booked an appointment right away. I was like, I need to go now, or this is going to sell. So that's what we did. And then on the other hand, so I tried to pick one. So this one's from Niagara Falls. This one is in Thorold. So Thorold's not very big. There's 20,000-ish people. There's 2 main streets. This is on one of them. It's on Pine Street. So you can see this one actually sat for a bit, which is very rare right now. Yeah. So this is a legal duplex. One unit is a 2-bed, 2-bath. One is a 2-bed with the basement. So the interesting thing about this, and this is again why you kind of need someone who's looking all the time. So this is a great opportunity, but at 350 there were tenants, and it was definitely under market rent what they were both paying. But throughout the listing period, they put in the listing that the main floor tenant was moving out. So there's your opportunity to get in there, do renovations if you want to, or just clean it up and paint it. There were no pictures, but I do know some people that went through it, and it wasn't in great shape, but nothing, a bit of cosmetic renos couldn't fix up. But that's your opportunity to have one vacant unit to set market rents. And we always talk about that 1% that's almost unattainable in a lot of, Ontario markets. But at 300,000, there's no reason that you couldn't get that here. And the other opportunity that this property presents is it could burr. At 300,000, a legal duplex this size in Thorold, there's comps that say that it could appraise at 5. So there's your perfect burr again.
Yeah, so amazing to see that what actually still can be found on the market if you're looking with a critical eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the opportunity here was just checking it often to see if anything had changed. And as soon as that changed, that's what someone did. Like, this wasn't my deal, and kudos to the realtor who scooped this up at 300,000. But that opportunity presented itself, and now this turns into a really, really great deal.
Love it.
Yeah, and then this is more of like a out of the box thinking investment opportunity. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because I'm actually in the process of buying one of these. So with the market being what it is, and with it being such a heavy seller's market, it's getting difficult to find, those deals that will work for a burr, or, even just a cash flow, because there's multiple offers and you're against buyers that are end users, but also buyers that are investors. So it's turning into a bit difficult right now, and that's just because of the inventory. But so this is being built in what I would say is a B neighborhood in the St. Catharines. So, but you can see like the landscape around it will be gorgeous. So there's a golf course that it backs onto. There's a bunch of new build homes in the area as well. So builders are seeing value here, which is a good sign. They do a lot of research before they put their feet on the ground. So starting from 363.9, here's the kind of the price points and the deposit structure. A lot of them are already sold out, but you can see like for 774 square feet for $409,000, like that's pretty good as far as a brand new build condo goes. The big opportunity here is for the month of January. They're offering a free parking spot, which if you plan on renting it is obviously huge, but also the $0 assignment fee. So I'm gonna put this deposit down. I'm gonna sit on it, and if the Niagara region continues to increase at a 23% year over year, well, then I'm going to assign it before I even have to get a mortgage. And that's like a no-brainer to me. And if it slows down and it makes more sense to keep as a rental investment, well, then I'm going to do that. And it'll still cash flow because they're going to be gorgeous. You can kind of see some of the photos down here, and like who wouldn't want to live in something brand new this nice with a parking spot? So it kind of offers like a dual opportunity. But as soon as I saw the $0 assignment fee, I was like, yeah, I need to do something about this.
Awesome. Yeah. And I love the fact today, Kayla, that you were sharing with us like real deals that like you believe in so much that you're backing it up with your own financial resources. So
yeah, I mean, put your money where your mouth is, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I just want to highlight for the audience how important that is when you're looking to work with a realtor, right? If you've got someone that's actively investing in the market themselves, like they just know more and they care more, right? It's just one of those things that until you've experienced it as like a client, you don't necessarily understand the difference. But it's, just understanding the perspective of an investor is actually something that takes a lot of realtors a while to acquire unless they're an investor themselves. So
yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. But yeah, this is, like I said, this was just kind of out of the box thinking, but I think right now that's kind of what we have to do, because there's, there's a million people in 5 houses. So it's getting a little difficult out there, but hopefully that will change as the year goes on. But yeah, so this was kind of my saw it and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do something about this.
Yeah, I love it. And so Was there anything else here to share, or I think we're good?
No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, that's the price points and stuff, pretty favorable. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So we'll stop the screen share here, and I'd love to just chat a little bit more. So for people that are interested in breaking into the Niagara market, you know, those that do maybe want some of the deals that you've kind of highlighted, what are the neighborhoods that you're often taking your clients through, or that you find they're drawn to?
Yeah, so I'll use St. Catharines as an example. So Pelham is, I mean, previously would have been considered a C neighborhood if we're going ABC. But you know, they just built the ghost station there. They're still working on it, but it's happening. It's turning around. You're seeing a bunch of new builds there, and there's studies that show that while ghost station's being built, the houses increase between 9 and 17% just based off of that. So we're still in the middle of it. So there's still a bit of opportunity in that way. And also there's a lot of, like, the zoning's favorable in this Pelham area. The houses are favorable because they're not that old, again, with the high basements and stuff, if you're looking to do a single family to multi-conversion. So that's my favorite area in St. Catharines specifically. I provide maps for all my clients that kind of lay out A, B, C areas, because not a lot of them are not from the Niagara region. And then as far as Welland is pocketed completely. It's very hard to tell you, you know, don't go here or go here, because one street in Welland will be gorgeous, the next street will be a dump. So I would say just have your, you know, I always go for my clients and say yes or no. If they're from out of town, I go myself and I just kind of, you know, check it out and make sure that it's suitable or not. Thorold is a go everywhere. There's not really a bad area in Thorold. Thorold South's a little bit out of the way. And then the rest of them, honestly, like, I don't know that there's a bad option. There's only one area in St. Catharines that I would avoid. And that's just because it hasn't turned around. But if you're an investor that's willing to take that risk, you can get a duplex for under $300,000, no problem.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's just the risk that you're willing to take. And of course it will turn around. They all do. And there's, you know, there's money being put into those areas right now that indicate that it will. It's just whatever your level of risk is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you sharing all your just market expertise today in the Niagara and region markets, Kayla. And just a reminder, anyone that's interested in reaching out to Kayla, our local expert there, we're going to link in the video description down below. You guys can actually book a call with Kayla. And so if people are interested, they should feel free just to kind of reach out and they can jump on a call with you.
Book a call, reach out on social, like anything. I'm happy to just even chat real estate. Like, it's obviously I love doing it. I didn't stop talking there for a while. But yeah, just reach out any means. I'm happy to chat.
Awesome. And if you guys have any questions for us about the Niagara region, jump in the comment section, hit us up with your questions. Reminder, this is going to be a monthly reoccurring segment. So we'll be back next month breaking down more recent data for you guys, as well as exploring other, you know, interesting and exciting investment opportunities with Kayla. Really appreciate you breaking down some of the numbers on your own deals. Again, love the fact that you're investing yourself. And if you guys want to get in contact with Kayla, link in the video description down below. And we'll see you next month, Kayla.
Thanks, Matt. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks again to Kayla for taking the time to really just explain everything that's going on in all those different markets. There's a lot of opportunities. And in fact, I see a lot similar about her market and my market of London, Ontario. So personally for me, I think of like London, Brantford, and St. Catharines in the Niagara region, and Fort Erie as well, really, as markets that they're kind of like the Rodney Dangerfields of real estate. They get no respect. So there's actually a lot of upside because no one's paying attention to them. And again, if you want to get in contact with Kayla, all her contact information is in the video description down below. Hit subscribe if you're new to my channel, smash the like button, and we'll see you next month.